Hello there, Atheist Junior here, your friend and humble narrator, and I'm coming to you guys with a new live stream. It's been a little while. Thank you to all the people who reached out. I'm still around. Channel's not dead yet, but yeah. So I unfortunately came across a good old whack an atheist video from our friend Kent Hovind, and I mean, you could see from what I wrote in the title, but I haven't watched much of the video, but I saw enough to where I was like, well, I think I'm going to take a look at this on stream because, uh, I mean, it couldn't hurt to call Kent out again on him being a bigot and a homophobe and transphobe and for doxing atheists. Because if he's going to keep doing it, then you might as well keep calling him out. You know, I mean, it's just obnoxious. And what sucks is that I was telling I don't know if you guys know this person, but my friend Aiden, I was telling him that Ken Hovind actually made me feel regret that I ever publicly came out as being not straight or bi, just because I felt like it almost wasn't worth it, just because of the sort of harassment and just like, and that sucks. Like I shouldn't feel regret for just being open about something that's a part of who I am, because some people are going to be shitty about it. Like most people, the true fact is that it just doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like people's sexuality, I mean, it matters, but in day-to-day conversation, it really doesn't matter that much. But these people like Kent and fundamentalist creationist Christians, they force the issue. You know what I mean? They have to bring it up when it's like, who asked? Like, did anybody ask you? So, you know, Kent has to be shitty about it. You know, I mean, might as well call attention to it. All right, let's bring up Kent's video.
Rainy Lenox, Alabama. It only rained twice this week, once for 4 days and the second time for 3 days. We got the lakes are full though. It is June the 18th, 2025. Tonight, whack an atheist or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. See how much time we got. We're on a bunch of different channels. They took us off of YouTube, of course, they always do. But Facebook, got a bunch of people there. Rumble, Twitter, our app, Instagram, and whatever else. I don't know. Push a button, something goes on. Right, Joseph?
We're starting a King James OnlyFans. We've got a Fur Affinity. I'm on X videos. You know, I'm all over social media.
All those fails, go to drdino.com. They're all listed there. Sign up for all of them. They're all free. And then so take us off of one, go to another one. So if you need somebody,
hey, well, you get what you pay for, right?
You know, somebody needs this message tonight. This might help. Somebody been deceived by the evolution religion.
Nobody needs this message tonight. Nobody.
Tonight, the 18th of June. Next month, in a couple of weeks, actually, we're going up to Ken Ham's Noah's Ark Sunday on July the 6th. And just to meet with some of the atheists that are having their atheist rally and just pass out some tracts and invite them to church and get them saved if we can. So that's July the 6th up there. Dinosaur Adventureland is free, 140 acres of lots of fun around here. Help us stay open for free if you'd like to join us, join our 777 club, support us that way. Okay, I want to get up to where I'm going tonight. Whack an atheist. We try to get 4 or 5 of them tonight. So based on the whack-a-mole game, we've been through all this 5 times before. Okay. So many atheists, so little time. Who gets whacked first? Well, first goes to a creepy blunder. Again. Creepy, thank you for sharing so much of my real science material with your viewers. Seeds of truth are being planted that may grow and help them come to Christ. Thank you also for explaining that you and Simon Dan only do these videos promoting evolution for the money.
So I guess maybe I've missed some context with this video, but I mean, when I was in elementary school, they taught us when I was learning how to read, or, you know, maybe a little bit more advanced than that, but learning not just how to read, but how to find context clues in and around the parts that you were reading to understand better. If you didn't know what a word meant, you could look at other words in a sentence. I feel like there might be some clues in this image that Simon Dan might have been joking when he said that he only does this for the money. Simon Dan has been very successful on YouTube, but the guy, like, he runs 5Ks. He does a lot of stuff outside of YouTube. I'm pretty sure that he doesn't rely on YouTube. And we live in a capitalist society, so I've never understood this criticism of somebody. Oh, you're doing something just for the money. You only work 8 hours a day at your job for the money. You only do it for, well, yeah, that's the point. You need money to eat food and drink water and have housing, so you don't survive, so you can survive and not succumb to starvation or the elements. You kind of need money to be alive. So why does it matter if you're doing something just for the money? If it's something immoral or illicit, then that's, arguably not good. Or I think the criticism comes when you're greedy, when you take an excessive amount of money, like, I don't know, somebody who had a net worth of $2 million in 2005 and yet still did not want to pay income tax or Social Security taxes. He didn't want to withhold those from his employees to pay out those fees to the government because he wanted to hoard that money for himself. Is that greedy? Because that seems like you're just doing something for the money. I don't know. I could be wrong.
He said right in his video. You mention me quite often for the same reason. I bring you viewers, don't I, creepy? Okay. I'm glad to help your struggling show get more views that include some truth, at least.
That's just hilarious. I mean, I assume he's talking about Creaky Blinder, but Creaky Blinder's got a pretty big channel too. Simon Dan's channel is huge. It's one of the biggest atheist channels. He can do a video about Kent Hovind and not put his name in the title and still get like 90K views in like a day. So I don't think he needs your help, Kent.
Okay. You seemed really upset that I mentioned Dan Rourke's real name instead of the fake one, Simon Dan.
Oh boy. See, I didn't even know that. You know why? Because I don't care, Kent. Like, what? Why do you know that? Why do you why do you do this shit, Kent?
My show. It's easy to find info like this about anyone these days. Why do you atheists try to hide who you are? See, Joseph, can you see where he's censored out?
Because it's not hiding. You don't understand the concept of a pseudonym or a persona or a username. Do you know what a username is, Kent? Have you ever had to put in a username and password?
I put Dan Rourke. That's it.
Kent Hovind, literally, his username on every single website is Kent Hovind, Kent_Hovind. There's no underscore in my legal name. This is bullshit.
His real name. Yeah. Censored. Yeah, he don't like that. Okay. Or the Canadian lawyer that he lies and calls himself Mr. Anderson. It's not Mr. Anderson. Censored again. Let's see. There he is. I debated him a long time ago. Welcome to Feral Law in Calgary, Alberta. Why are you ashamed of your name, Mr. Anderson?
It's not being ashamed. There are crazy people who use the internet, and sometimes those people target people IRL for things that are bad. And it's just a way of protecting yourself from strangers who might want to do you some type of illicit harm or stalk you or take your identity. Part of it is protecting yourself from identity theft. I mean, like, why do you censor your credit card number, Kent? Why are you hiding your credit card number? You know, why don't you have that on all of your slides with the CVC code on the back and the expiration date? Oh, is it because maybe you want to keep that information private? Is there a reason for that? Why would somebody want to keep information about themselves private, Kent? Just because you don't, and you don't understand why other people would want to, doesn't make it okay for you to take the prerogative to go and put that information out there. You don't have that right, and it's shitty of you to go and do that when you know that people don't like it when you do that. That's why you do it, though, because you know people don't want you to, and because you're going to be rebellious. You're like a 6-year-old who got told not to take a cookie out of the jar. So you go and take a second one out of spite. It's like, well, your mom's probably not going to get that mad at you for it, but it's like, that was kind of a shitty thing to do. You know what I mean?
I don't understand all that. Anyway, it's sad, Creepy, that you spend hours editing my videos to twist what I say. You'll pick out a word here, word there. You're really good at editing and twisting, and you can make anybody say anything if you want to do that, okay? And you take words from one show and paste it into totally different context, and I know why. You won't debate me live on your show or my show or any show because you know you can't twist my words that way. Admit it, Creepy.
No, nobody has to twist your words, Kent. I mean, I don't think Creaky does that, but just because somebody's not playing what you say in full doesn't mean that they're editing your content to twist your words. Showing what you say verbatim shows how bad your opinions are. You don't need to change anything you're saying because it's bad enough as it is. And we're going to see that as we go forward in this video.
Come on, you know that's the truth, okay? Second whack goes to Emma Thorne. Wait a minute, did I? Yeah, I got to play this video first. Right here. Dan said he's going to let somebody else protect him from my whacking. I thought you might want to see this.
As we all know, Kent Hovind loves to whack me. And for the final guest creator, I've drafted in Plan a Walk to whack him back.
Planar Walk, if you want to look that up, Planar, walk. I don't recall ever hearing of this. Is it a boy or a girl, Joseph? I don't want to get in trouble for.
Like you would care about getting in trouble for like being offensive about somebody's sexual identity, Kent. Like you give a shit about that. You're one of these right-wing creationist types, right? Like, don't you guys think that people are too sensitive nowadays and shouldn't get offended so easily? Why would you care if you've offended somebody? Who are you going to get in trouble with anyway? They've already taken you off YouTube, right? They.
I'll let you see for yourself, okay?
Right, on with today's guest creator video. As I said at the start, it's from Plan a Walk, who I absolutely love, by the way. The link for
You absolutely love, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you know what context Simon Dan was using that word in, Kent. Do you love pizza with peanut butter, Kent? Does that mean you want to fuck a pizza pie with peanut butter on it? Don't answer that.
their channels in the description. Go check that out and subscribe after this video. Take it away, my friend.
Okay, so real quick, just to get this out of the way. The fact that Kent went out of his way to look up Simon Dan's real name, but then he acts like he can't do the same due diligence to look up anything about Planar Walk, to address them with the right pronouns or the right way. It just shows that he's a fucking liar, you know? Planar Walk is trans and uses she or they pronouns. So I'll put a link to one of their videos in the description. That's them talking about all this stuff, because I watched it before making this video because I actually wanted to try and be respectful and use the right terms, because I'm not an asshole, Kent. You could have done the same thing. It probably would have taken you less time than the time it took to like dox Simon Dan, but whatever.
Ahoy hoy all, and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, Planar Walk. Thank you very much for joining me. Today we are looking at Kent Hovind as he whacks yet another atheist, because according to Kent, there are so many atheists out there and they all need whacking.
Amen. Amen. Go for it. So many atheists. The winner tonight, Simon Dan, again.
Though despite the number of atheists out there, it seems that he prefers to whack some more than others.
Simon Dan doesn't realize it, okay? And he probably never will understand it. He is spreading the gospel for us to his listeners. Somebody on Simon Dan, on Ray Comfort's channel, commented right here, Simon Dan was actually one of the atheist channels that exposed me to creationist arguments. I was an evolutionist, secular atheist, and these exact mocking reviews of Christians led me to the Lord. and ultimately led me to people who strengthened my faith. Wild how God works.
So that is one person on a video by Ray Comfort titled "Atheist Accidentally Shares the Gospel with 90,000 People." So of course, you're going to get a comment like that on that sort of video. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a trend though. And there are probably just as many, if not more, people watching Simondan that find themselves persuaded by his arguments. Or possibly even in the case of this video, my arguments.
People are going to be persuaded to do what by your arguments? I hope not. Okay, let's go. Strange admission.
What is he even doing here? He's like, he's making everything into some weird like innuendo. I don't know why.
So you understood that evolution was a scientific fact and chose to ignore the facts and believe in the error-filled creationist arguments. Well, anybody believes that's a moron, okay? Publicly call you a moron to your face. The creationist arguments are true. God created the world. The world is not billions of years old. There is no geologic column. There is no fossil record.
It's kind of funny that Kent decided to call someone a moron and then just get everything wrong. Kent,
I get everything wrong. Why don't you call and schedule a debate?
Whether or not somebody is willing to take the time to debate you, Kent, has no bearing on whether or not those claims that you just made are true or whether or not you got everything wrong. Spoiler alert, which you did. It's just, this is your automated Hovind response. Auto Hovind bot.
Call 855.
It's like an if-then statement. If an atheist says anything to Kent Hovind, then Kent will say, why don't you debate me? Kent, I've debated you like 6 times. Grayson's debated you a bunch of times. Tons of atheists have debated you. You've had enough debates. Frankly, I don't think you deserve to have anybody else, especially anybody in the atheist community, to take the time to debate you, because it's a waste of time. You don't give a crap about the actual spirit of the debate. You're just using it as a platform, really clout chasing, because you constantly clout chase after bigger atheists and bigger channels than yours, to spread your propaganda to people who might not have seen it. You don't care about the actual debate, and you don't put any effort into actually learning about the topics discussed. You just spout your script.
Big Dino extension for Joseph. Book him, or her, or it, whatever, okay?
Hovind's claims go
Oh, very nice. So we're calling Planner Walking it now.
against all the evidence that we observed, like, for example, radiometric dating. If Kent
You need to watch my video on radiometric dating, okay?
You need to stop being so dehumanizing and shitty to people who are of a different, people who are just different to you, Kent. Like, why do you have to be such a shitty, unlikable, mean-spirited asshole?
You have to start with the assumption that you know how much was in it when it died, and you cannot possibly know that.
Oh, well, who's making assumptions now, Kent? You fuck.
See, you guys don't, never mind. We covered that, several times, okay? Radiometric dating has some real serious problems, and I'll debate you on it. Bring it on, okay?
If Hovind were correct, then radiometric dating would never give results that go past 6,000 years old, but it constantly does. Now, young Earth creationists will often argue that, well, maybe the half-life of radioactive elements has changed over time, but that's something that has never been observed.
True. That's a good point. And we went over this when I debated Ken about carbon dating, and he never had a good response for it. You know, he claims that, oh, you can't know that the decay rate has never changed. Well, we've never seen it change. We've never been able to make it change. And you can't provide an example of any time that we've witnessed it changing. So we haven't observed it, right? So that means it's not science, according to you.
There is
Arbiter of what is and is non-scientific.
no evidence to support something like that.
Ever observed a cow produce a non-cow, or come from a non-cow, or a dog produce a non-dog? Nobody's ever observed any of the links on your stupid family tree, you guys believe. Nobody's ever seen an amoeba produce a non-amoeba, or a protozoa produce a non-protozoa. It's never been observed. That's why I say it's not science.
See, there you go. So are you acknowledging that it's not been observed, that decay rate has changed in radiometric dating or radioactive elements decaying? You seem to be maybe not realizing it, acknowledging their point.
I'm glad you believe in it. You makes you happy for now. You got great faith, but it's not science. That's all. Why don't you guys just admit it?
So if the only way that you can be correct is by denying all evidence and then proposing that the evidence is wrong because of something that has no evidence for it.
Wait. Denying all evidence, why don't you show me some? What evidence is there for the evolution religion? I've been asking for it for years.
It's not a religion. You can't show any definition of evolution anywhere, in any dictionary, any textbook, any source other than your own material that calls it a religion.
One lawyer friend backed me up years ago. He said, we'll pay $250,000 if anybody's got any scientific evidence for evolution. So I'm not.
Yeah, and that contest was completely rigged, and the rules were unfair because in order to win that $250,000 prize, you had to prove to a panel of judges selected by Kent Hovind himself, who he claims were all very knowledgeable in science, if not scientists themselves, but without ever disclosing any of their identities. You had to prove to them that God couldn't have done it. You have to prove to a panel of judges that Kent picked, and he never shows their identities or who they are, or what their credentials are, or if they even exist, that God couldn't have created life in a way that basically the product of evolution and natural selection that we see now, you have to prove to them that God couldn't have done that. Well, God has unlimited magical powers. So of course he could do whatever he wants in your fantasy. Like, this is why I told Kent directly. I'm like, Kent, you've got your finger on the scale, bro. Like, you're cheating. You have to see that. And you wouldn't have to have your thumb on the scale if your argument, if you had confidence in your argument. If anything, it just shows unintentionally that you lack confidence in the claims that you're making, because you know that they're outlandish, and that to people who aren't brought up in a Christian creationist background or shown your videos from grade 5 on, if not earlier, that the claims you make sound completely ridiculous. So you have to sugarcoat them and like obfuscate things and constantly distract and say, look at the other side, look at what they believe, even though it's a straw man, because your own position is so shaky. It's on such shaky foundation. You're building a house on a sand at low tide. So I just think that's kind of funny.
I don't have that now. I don't remember his name even, but it was a long time ago.
Oh, you don't remember his name? Really? Okay.
25 years ago. Where is it? Come on, Planner Walk, or Nikki, you call yourself, right? Was I supposed to say his name? Her name? Nikki? I'm sorry.
And his
they've made their name public, so that's fine. Clearly, it shows that Kent has gone to this person's profile, because this is the only way that you could, because I didn't know this information. So Kent took the time to go to their profile page, which has this information, and still is like, dude, what words do I use? I'm stupid, and I'm a boomer, and I'm lost in a Sam's Club. I think I got caught under a radiator.
never been observed, then you are probably wrong.
Are there really any questions that evolutionists can't answer?
Yes, Dan, there are thousands of you can't answer. You can't answer how the universe came to be. Where did time come from? Where did space come from? Where did matter come from? How did life?
Oh, you can't answer the most fundamental and difficult to answer questions that any human could possibly postulate. You're an idiot. What? That's your criticism? You can't either. You just think that you can, but your answer is a made-up answer that's just been told over and over again so many times and accepted by so many members of society and taught to their children that it's become ingrained in our society, so it seems more reasonable than it really is. If anything, Kent, who's so critical of the majority opinion thing, doesn't see the advantage that his own literal religion gets from the majority opinion that Christianity is true.
Life get started? How did reproduction get started?
Well, I'd argue that Christians like Kent Hovind can't actually answer those questions any better.
we can't answer them either. So this is why you ought to wake up and smell the coffee. This is why you have a religion, and so do I. But we're all paying.
So we're not. So you're no better than they are. So why are you claiming some type of moral
For
superiority?
yours to be taught.
You're not paying for anything to be taught. You didn't pay income taxes, and you don't have to pay property taxes because DAL is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, because you're exempt from those taxes because you are a religious organization. Now, I don't think that's I don't think you should be able to do that, but that the fact remains. So you don't pay for evolution to be taught. And even if you had paid income taxes, just because you pay income tax doesn't mean you get to choose where those taxes go. I might argue that maybe people should be able to at least, if not select, at least know where their taxes are going. But that's not how things operate currently. There's actually a pretty funny video of Cardi B talking about this exact topic that I saw. And Ben Shapiro, of all people, was praising her. You know, that black hip hop woman, she talked about economics, and I actually think she made a good point. I have a yarmulke. People got mad at me because I made fun of Ben Shapiro's yarmulke. Fuck off.
Why is that? Because you guys won't admit yours is
Somebody called me anti-Semitic because I said Ben Shapiro wears a stupid funny hat.
a religion. Well, yeah. Then you lose your funding. I understand. I understand really well.
Than an atheist can. Let's
Projection.
take the question of where did time come from, for an example. Well, an atheist might say, well, it came from the Big Bang. Whereas a Christian might say, well, it came from God. Now, Kent Hovind would not accept the atheist's answer for that because, well, it lacks a lot of substance. Like, how did the Big Bang create time? But the same also applies to the Christian answer. How did God create time? To say that atheists can't answer these questions to a satisfactory standard while you yourself can't answer those questions to a satisfactory standard is not a good argument. And that
Well said. And nobody can really answer that question except for maybe people who are the most learned when it comes to cosmology and mathematics and quantum mechanics. And even if they answered those questions to someone like me or Kent, a layman, we probably wouldn't understand it. I know that Kent wouldn't, because he doesn't have the grasp of scientific knowledge to understand such an answer, but he also just wouldn't listen to the answer. That's the thing, is that Kent has all these questions, but when people have tried to answer them, it just goes in one ear and out the other.
How can you be so blind as to not see what you just said? You just admitted you have a religious belief in the Big Bang. You can't prove it, but you believe it. I believe God created the world. I can't prove that, I don't think, but I think that's a
Oh, you don't think? No, you can't.
logical answer. So why are we all paying for your religion to be taught? That's all.
You're not, and science isn't about proving things to be true or not. It's not a contest, and nobody has to prove anything to you, Kent. Again, you're not the arbiter of what is or is not scientific, or what is or isn't true.
Just quit.
that's not even getting into the evidence of it all. You see, there is evidence for the Big Bang. Not
Yeah, lots. Cosmic microwave background radiation, because I already know that Kent is going to say that there's not, but there is. There's the afterglow of the universe cooling down from shortly after the Big Bang happened. About, I think, 300,000 years or so, give or take, after the Big Bang, when the universe was expanding and becoming less dense and less hot, and finally was cool enough for protons and neutrons to coalesce and start to form matter. There's a record of that event happening. We can see it everywhere that we look in the universe. There's a signature of the cosmic microwave background. And like, you have no answer for this, Kent. You have no answer for this, none.
so much for God. And just because the existence
There's evidence for the Big Bang, but not so much evidence for God.
Yeah.
Nikki, whoever you are, you need to really stop and rethink what you're saying. Okay, get alone, shut off the TV, shut off the video games, and think about it.
of God might be able to answer certain
God, Kent is so creepy in this video. He's like, does this person count as a woman to me? Does that mean I can be creepy and treat them like a fucking misogynist? I honestly don't know. It's like his like homophobia and transphobia and like woman hating are like clashing. He's like, I don't know what to do. Like, how can I hate this person more?
Questions, that does not mean that that therefore is evidence for God. Oftentimes saying I don't know is a better answer than coming up with one without any supporting evidence.
How did any
Kent,
skip a little bit?
why did your God make something specifically to be annoying to us?
Didn't used to have leather. Is that right? When they started, they weren't leather and they evolved leather?
Maybe.
Meat? They didn't have meat. And they didn't produce milk?
I can't answer that question.
Well, the answer, of course, is the cow that we know today did not evolve. It was artificially selected by humans.
Bingo. Nothing has evolved, Dan. Nothing. Things have been artificially selected, and there are now 450 breeds of cows.
So this is something that I'd actually disagree with Dan on here, because artificial selection is actually a form of evolution. When it comes to
This is why you have to define that word evolution before you get started. Nikki or whoever
Only if you define information first.
you are. I will.
Kent, you know this person's name is Nikki, so why are you saying whoever you are? Like, he acts like addressing them by their name is somehow some sort of own or gotcha. Fuck you, Kent.
I will carefully define what I mean by the word before we start our debate. Call 855 Big Dino extension 4. Please book them. Please do.
to natural selection, which I think we can all agree is
Dude, Planner Walk has already debated you, Kent. You don't even remember that, do you?
a form of evolution.
Cannot agree that natural selection is a form of evolution. Natural selection is a selection process. It doesn't create anything new. It selects what's already there. No, I'm not going to agree that it's a part of evolution. No.
You have evolutionary pressures on organisms, which means that the ones that are best suited to the environment are more likely to survive and reproduce. And when it comes to artificial selection, you still have evolutionary pressures on organisms. It's just that those evolutionary pressures mostly come from what humans want. So, Dan,
Neither of those are evolution.
Yes, they're both evolution because artificial selection is using the mechanisms of natural evolution that happens in nature and manipulating it to be more beneficial to, like what Planner Walk said, human desires, like making dogs smaller and more cute, making the wild mustard plant into 6 different other plants that are very, that are good in a lot of different foods and can feed a lot more people than the wild mustard plant. You would not want to eat it. I'll just say that. Or if you look at corn or bananas before farmers changed them, you would not want to eat an ancient banana. Like, you had to cook them for them to even be edible. And ancient corn had like less than 10 kernels on an ear, So humans wanted those plants to be more hardy because we need food to survive and we need calories. And there's a limited amount of space for people to do agriculture and farming. And so you want your plants you want to have as high a yield as possible. So they used artificial selection to do these things, which used the mechanisms of natural selection and, yes, evolution as it happens in the wild, in nature. So you're just totally wrong on this one, Kent. But all I can say is, no, that's not evolution. Nothing is evolution. Nothing's evolved. Evolution isn't true. There's no evidence for it. I'm going to plug my ears and just say, no, that's wrong. I'm right. All my claims are right. There's no evolution. Nothing's ever evolved, even though I fucking accept microevolution.
How can you not get it? Natural selection, artificial selection are selecting from what's already existing. It's not changing a
So what?
duck into a whale.
Doesn't have to. Evolution doesn't have to do whatever weird things that you want to satisfy your definition for it to actually be evolution.
Or an amoeba into a whale over trillions of generations. It's not going to work.
And that means that I've just debunked you. Checkmate, atheists.
Let me explain it to you, Dan. There are 450 breeds of cows, okay? Lots of different kinds of cows, artificially selected for more.
So there are different kinds of cows. So is there not one cow kind? So isn't this right here showing evidence that a new kind has been produced? Isn't that what you said couldn't happen? That we've never seen a new one kind produce a new kind, but these are different kinds of cows. So isn't that your exact definition for what would have to be shown for evolution to be true? Was that we'd have to see one kind produce a different kind? Or are you just using kind colloquially and you don't realize what you're saying because you're going kind of senile? I've got Alzheimer's. I've got Hovind's disease. I hope they name a disease after Ken Hovind. I really do.
Beef or more milk or to stand the heat better, stand the cold better, whatever, or give more calves, okay?
Yeah, that's kind of sounds a little bit like using the mechanisms of evolution in order to make your cattle or your livestock more hardy to better suit human desires. You think the cow cares if it gives more milk? I got muted on Kent's open mic. Joseph muted me because I said Kent's joke before he could say it because they're utterly ridiculous.
Somebody with interest in time could probably make a family tree of all the cows going back to a cow.
Well, if this is a comment from Big Bad Mama. It says U.S. military struck 3 sites in Iran. So much for the peace president. If that's not depressing enough, go look up the percentage of Americans who support these strikes. Or, yeah, just go look up that. Oh, fuck. I did the thing I said I wasn't going to do.
So
I didn't say I wasn't going to do it, but oh, there we go. No.
But you guys believe it goes back to a common ancestor called an amoeba or a paramecium, okay?
you. Checkmate, atheists.
Let me explain it to you, Dan. There are 450 breeds of cows, okay? Lots of different kinds of cows, artificially selected for more beef or more milk or to stand the heat better, stand the cold better, whatever, or give more calves, okay? Somebody with interest in time could probably make a family tree of all the cows going back to a common ancestor called a cow. But you guys believe it goes back to a common ancestor called an amoeba or a paramecium or a single-celled bacteria or something.
The thing is, though, Kent, there is evidence that all life on Earth is related.
Would you please share that evidence? You guys keep saying that over and over. That's your mantra. You can't get off your script. You keep saying there's just so much evidence. Show me some. Bring it up. Call for a debate. You go first.
Okay, well, first, I'd love to know what you'd actually accept as evidence, but the evidence is the genetic data. The genome shows that if you compare 2 species that are closely related, they'll have more shared, more of the same nucleotide sequences in their genetic code than 2 organisms that are distantly related. And you acknowledge this to be true because you understand how a paternity test works, how we can tell that because we're all humans, right? But we know that some humans are related to you closely, very closely, like your son, and some who are not, like George Washington or Donald Trump or Denzel Washington. Is Eric Hovind more closely related genetically to Ken Hovind than Denzel Washington? I think so. And you can show that in the genome. If you did a 23andMe genetic test, you could show that they share more of the same nucleotide sequences. Their code shares more of the same similar data than this other person. Well, they use that same method to show how animals are closely or distant related. And no matter what, all organisms on Earth share some amount of genetic data, and that shows common ancestry. Go figure, right? That all organisms that developed on the same planet in the same environments over the course of history would end up sharing the same genetic code, RNA and DNA, and that they would happen to be related. I don't know why this is so outlandish to these people.
Give the best evidence. Whatever time you take, I'll take equal time to debunk it. Okay?
Whether it be genetic evidence or the thing that you really seem to dislike called the fossil record. Because
There is no fossil record. There are fossils, trillions of them. I got a bunch in our museum here, thousands of them. But none of them talk and none of them have a date on them. There's no record. There's fossils. They all came from probably Noah's flood. We'll talk about that during the debate. You want to do a debate on fossils? Call Joseph, 855 Big Dino, extension 4.
yes, all cows do share a common ancestor. It's called an auroch, by the way. But so do aurochs and humans share a
You're related to a cow. I'll leave that one alone.
common ancestor. Just because you've got one common ancestor with one thing doesn't mean you can't also have a common ancestor with another thing as well.
I believe cows can jump. They can.
Oh, good. I was worried there for a second that I was going to have to explain to Kent, yes, cows can actually jump.
I accept the fact, Dan, there are no exceptions to this. None.
Well, it would be helpful if there was some kind of definition of what a kind is, because so far it seems to be
Bingo.
a kind is whatever I say a kind is, making it completely unfalsifiable.
No, the Bible says if they can bring forth, they are the same kind.
Okay. Does this even need to be explained at this point?
Huh?
That's the same definition of species.
Cows and sheep can't do that. They can't bring forth. Okay. Now, the 450 breeds of cows can all bring forth with each other. Dogs and wolves can bring forth a puppy, but the dogs and pine trees cannot. It's pretty easy to tell what a kind is most of the time. There might be a few. Pretty tough to tell what species are, by the way. You need to watch my video number 7. There are 26 different definitions of species out there. What exactly is a species?
Okay, well, what about the Kaibab squirrel and Abert squirrel on opposite sides of the Grand Canyon? They can't bring forth. Are they a different kind? No, because they're both squirrels, right? Because they had a common ancestor that was a squirrel. Well, that's the same thing with species, Kent. So you're just giving the definition of species and calling it kind.
Call for a debate on that one.
Babble.
After their kind, after their kind, after their kind. It's all through the Bible. 30 times in the 30 times in the book that I found so far, okay?
Well, the Bible isn't exactly a science book, so you should not be.
Who gave you the authority to say that? The Bible says all kinds of scientific things, okay? It's not designed to be only a science book. It's a book that covers a lot of stuff. The Bible is flawless and perfect. It's God's word. You're going to be judged by that book one day. So no, there's nothing scientifically inaccurate in the Bible.
Using it as one.
So 450 breeds of cows. How many kinds of cows are there? 450.
Well, no, let's be clear. There would be one kind of cow, according to you, Kent.
Most would not survive in nature. Read it, Nikki. There are 450.
Hey, Big Bad Mama, how you doing? It's good to
Hi,
see you.
AJ. Good to see you.
Yeah.
What do we
So-
got here?
Well, the title of the video pretty much sums it up, but this video is basically about Planner Walk, and Simon and Dan did a video just introducing them, and they're giving some arguments about creationism to Kent, and Kent's just kind of being a dick about it, you know, because he has to.
The usual.
Yeah. Pretty standard for Kent.
50 recognized breeds of cows, okay? The word kind is generic. It's in the vernacular. Okay, yes.
Was he about to say something else?
I don't know.
Venereal? It sounded like. I'm going to rewind it.
Nikki. There are 450 recognized breeds of cows, okay? The word kind is generic. It's in the vernacular. Yes. Let me get up to where I want
Was
to
he going
get.
to say
Am I-
vernacular or
Yeah, I guess so, but it seemed like I don't know.
he
Maybe I'm
stopped
hearing
himself
things-
before he didn't pronounce it right?
right.
Right. You can watch his whole show if you can stomach it. Here we go.
Not a question I can answer, I'll be honest.
Well, it didn't. That groove is the natural curve of the horse's spine.
Natural? I mean, explain what you mean by that, Dan. It just comes that way. It was designed that way, maybe? It was designed to have a curve in the spine, just right for people to sit on.
Well, just because an animal has a curve in its spine doesn't mean that humans are going to ride it. In fact, a lot of animals do have curves in their spine, but I don't see anyone trying to ride a panther. But here's the thing.
It's a good point.
Did Kant say that? Hold on, I'm gonna rewind this. Was he saying something like, "Oh, people rode dinosaurs because they had curved spines"? Was that what he was saying?
I'm not sure. Well, he's got a real hard on for Simon Dan, though.
Oh yeah, he loves him.
That groove is the natural curve of the horse's spine.
Natural? I mean, explain what you mean by that, Dan. It just comes that way. It was designed that way, maybe? It was designed to have a curve in the spine, just right for people to sit on?
Well, just because an animal has a curve in its spine doesn't mean that humans are going to ride.
Explain what you mean by that, Dan. It just comes that way. It was designed that way, maybe? It was designed to have a curve in the spine, just right for people to sit on?
Well, just because an animal has a curve in its spine doesn't mean that.
Yeah, it's not just right for people to sit on. It might be incidental that there's a benefit to humans, but again, like the fact that people can change animals to explicitly benefit humans is evolution. This is what Kant was disagreeing with earlier, him saying that artificial selection isn't evolution.
Right. I mean, isn't this like the old banana argument from Ray Comfort that the banana was made to hit the human hand or the mouth or whatever?
Yeah, a pretty unintentionally gay, that whole sequence. But yeah, I was talking about this earlier in the stream, that the ancient banana, you wouldn't want to eat it. You couldn't. You had
Right.
to cook it for it to even be edible, because you have to soften it. Obviously, we don't have to do that now. The what's the name of it? The modern banana.
I'm not
It's gonna
sure.
drive me nuts. I'll think of it.
I mean, the old bananas were a lot smaller, and I mean, they look different too.
Yeah, they were hard and full of seeds.
Right.
And same thing with corn.
Yeah. Corn was a grass, right?
Yeah, and it had like a couple kernels on the whole, like, if you would even
Seed
call it a
pods or
cob.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And humans changed that so you could have like hundreds of kernels.
Right. Evolution, basically.
Cavendish.
Okay.
I couldn't think of it. Yeah, the Cavendish banana. Yeah. So yeah, Banana Man, classic.
Humans are going to ride it. In fact, a lot of animals do have curves in their spine, but I don't see anyone trying to ride a panther. But here's the thing, do you want to know what animal people do ride that isn't a horse, that we have been talking about this entire time? A cow.
People ride cows. Okay, you need to live out west for a while. Okay.
You can ride.
Was that supposed to be
What?
a refutation?
I mean, people ride cows in rodeos all the time.
They ride bulls. Is that the same thing?
Yeah, a bull's just a male cow.
Yeah. Earlier, Kent was saying how there's all these different kinds of cows, and it's like, does that mean that there's more than one kind of cow, or is there a cow kind? Is there also a bull kind? Like,
He can't explain it.
it's like they said, it's just kind means whatever they need it to mean.
A cow. Now, they aren't the best for riding, because if they were, more people would ride them. But it just goes to show that if horses didn't exist, we'd find something else to ride. Like, I don't know, camels, elephants. People ride them.
Let me go to a different one here. How do I shrink this down? And she did another.
Would you check the private chat real quick?
God.
Yeah, I know. It's this whole video.
I can't read it here. Is that coming out?
Right.
There we go. Coming out as being transgender.
Oh, this is the video I was talking about. Or no? Oh, this is see, Kent watched the whole video, almost the whole video, just like I did, and he's still feigning ignorance. That's incredible. I'm surprised Kent actually watched it. I mean, I'm assuming he watched this far into the video, but it seems like it because it's a pretty long video.
Did he choose this video just to be transphobic, basically? I mean, just to
I think that
misgender the person, or
I think that he just saw a Simon Dan video that mentioned him, and he would have responded to it no matter what. The ability to be shitty to planner walk is just a bonus for him.
okay.
Yeah.
Whatever that means, okay? See. So people are going to congratulate Nikki on coming out.
Signing out.
I've known Planner Walk for almost 4 years now, and if I ignore the fact that he's got a really funny accent.
Oh, it's a he. You said that creepy called him a he.
Okay, in this video, Planner Walk said that pronouns they use is she, they, and sometimes he. I'm assuming that just means maybe for convenience or just because that's their preference. So it's not, I would assume that in this instance, it's not the same thing as Kent intentionally using like male pronouns to try to insult them, you know?
Right.
Like he wouldn't have put the clip in the video if it was like, if they didn't like it, you know? So just stupid.
So now we got it from the authority. Creepy's known him for 4 years. So Creepy, thank you for settling the argument. Okay, it's a he.
That makes him tricky for a person like me with no noticeable.
Yeah, it's like the second time he's called Planner Walk an it. So,
Jeez.
Yeah.
Accent to understand. Planner's actually a pretty cool person.
I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't care if Kent was using the word he, but calling them an it is just fucked up, you know?
Well, hopefully they don't care what Kent says, period, because they know Kent is an
doubt it.
asshole.
Yeah. Of course.
Although I may edit that compliment out, I don't want people starting to think that I'm nice. And Planner, if you think that coming out as trans means that I'm going to stop making fun of the way you pronounce the word deck, then I'm afraid you're wrong, pal. And on the topic of coming out, well done. It's a brave thing to do, and I support you 100%. A person's happiness should come before everything. And I, for one, will always embrace diversity and celebrate every individual's unique journey, even someone who talks funny like you do. Love you, bye.
Damn it, my plan didn't work there.
Hey, Planner Walk. Congratulations. I understand you're going to have some rough times ahead of you now, but I hope you find happiness. I hope everything works out. Be true to yourself, and what I mean by that is be true to what's in here, not necessarily what's down there.
It's pretty good. So I should have done one of these videos. Well, I came out before I had a YouTube channel, but I should have a video of people like congratulating me. But I mean, if you think about it, like it can't be easy to be a public figure on YouTube. There have been several examples of people who have YouTube channels and they come out as trans, and a percentage of their audience immediately leaves and stops watching and is like very unhappy or upset about that fact. Like, then there's some channels where the person is congratulated and really embraced, like Philosophy Tube. But then if you look at a channel like Jim Sterling, I don't know what name they're going by now, but or Nick Spheres, if any of you know that channel, or lots of channels, it's not all guaranteed that people are going to embrace you. And a lot of people, especially on the internet, it's so easy for people to be shitty, like we can see here. But even people within their audience, not only that, but being on video and going through those changes publicly, it's already, as you know, difficult enough. But having that process documented, I don't know. I wouldn't want to do that. if I was trans.
Right. And just think of what they're going through in their, in the real world apart from the internet.
Yeah. Like they already have to go through it's difficult enough, but and they are choosing to, be open, and they're coming out publicly. It's a choice, but still it's still a difficult process. So yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with them having some people give, positive affirmations in their video. You know what I mean? But Kent is going to sit here and make fun of it, I guess.
Right. He's just playing this video just to appeal to the lowest common denominator in his audience.
Yeah. I think we had one of those in the chat earlier.
Right.
Yeah. Just be nice to people. Can we do that? Like, I'm pretty nice to Kent. I was nice to Brett Keane and Steven Anderson when I talked to them the last time. Like, it is
wow,
possible.
When did you talk to Steven Anderson?
Oh, well, he was there, but it was mostly me and Brett Keane talking.
Oh, Bolin?
Yeah, Bolin.
Okay, you said Steven Anderson.
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, wow.
I wish. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Yeah. Hey, well, if Steven Anderson is watching this video, because I know he is, I'd be more than happy to come and hang out, and we can play Mario Kart.
Hang out.
No. What was it? Stephen Andrew? What's his name?
Stephen Andrew Bolin.
Bolin.
Yeah.
That's what I meant to say.
Right. That's what I figured.
I was nice to him,
Yeah.
Like, and I would be nice to Steven Anderson. Like, I'd try to be cordial to people. I've been trying more lately because I have a few too many videos on YouTube of me talking to a creationist, and at the end, I'm like, fuck you, suck my dick, and they leave. So I've been trying not to do that. I think if you are in an interaction with somebody, what I mean is to be cordial to somebody up until the point that they're not cordial to you, basically. Like, I'm not going to be the one to instigate the disrespect, basically. Like, I'm not saying you have to be like, overly nice and to where it's ridiculous, but I see what this person is saying.
Right. I like, well, ain't that swell? It's a good person.
I've never heard of them.
They reamed Kent out one time in the open mic.
Oh, really? I'll have to look at that.
See you around.
You know what? When I do my comment videos, a lot of the time,
me and Kent have a weird relationship. If anybody is just listening to this video, the comment says, like, Kent openly wants you dead, AJ. Why would you be cordial to that off rip? Yeah, me and Kent have sort of a weird friendship that's developed over time. I mean, I can't explain it. I don't think Kent really wants me dead. Like, I understand what you're saying.
No, I don't think he does either. But you have to also figure, if you're cordial to people, then you might get through to some of their audience. And I think that's the key, is you want to be able to communicate to Kent's audience, not necessarily change his mind about anything.
Yeah. I mean, some people, they see hostility coming from, it doesn't have to be an atheist in that situation, but a lot of Christians, and I'm not saying, because I love Aaron Ra and all the work he's done, but some people, you see the Christians, they react to that, they just shut down. You know what I mean? Like, they villainize Aaron Ra,
Yeah.
And I think part of that might be because he's so, like,
aggressive.
Intense. Yeah. And I have no criticism for that style. It's just not my angle, you know?
It ultimately will shut down any communication that you have with that audience.
I'll say it can, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, from Roshina, we have a super chat from 499. How do you be nice to someone that doesn't think you should exist? Well, I've done debates with Kent, and I'm there to debate him. You know what I mean? I'm there to talk about the subject matter. So I think there's a difference between being nice and being cordial. Like, it's nice to get somebody a present for Christmas, or to bring somebody chicken soup when they're sick, or to walk somebody's dog. I'm not going to do that for Kent, but being cordial with somebody is just giving them a baseline level of decency in an interaction. I think, you know, but I don't know. I've grown a sort of begrudging. I like Kent a little bit. I'll admit that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate to admit it, but over the years, I kind of like him. I'm not gonna lie. He's funny. I'm sorry. Kent's funny. I mean, he like, I won't say that Kent's harmless, but I mean, he's been so demoralized and deplatformed that I feel like the atheists have basically won in this scenario. So
Yeah,
all
I
he can
agree.
do is just throw pot shots from Rumble. You know what I mean?
He's kind of just like an old lion that's lost its teeth, and, you know, it's harmless at this point, but still thinks it can fight.
I mean, I'm not going to be one of those people that joins the open mic and says, "Oh, Kent yells at his ex-wife on the phone," because that just makes me cringe, to be honest, and that shuts down the conversation immediately. Like, because that happened last time on the open mic, and I don't think that I don't find that to be useful either. You know?
Right.
We should respect people's humanity, even if they don't respect ours. I'll say that. I'm going to die on this hill.
Flat earthers accuse me of being trans. You know, trans man Dan.
Oh, is that a thing? I didn't know people were doing that. That's so funny. Like, like as if that's a bad thing, right?
People
Like,
are
you're
what,
accusing
calling Simon Dan that, or?
Apparently, I had never heard this. Yeah.
FTM, transgender, all of this. And my argument is always the same. So what? So what if I am trans? It doesn't make me wrong or changes me as a person. And that is exactly the same about.
Well, it wouldn't make you a bad person. It would definitely mean you had changed as a person. But I get what he's saying, you know. But yeah, I agree completely. Like, it's like, well, what's your point though? Like,
Address
what's the
the
implication?
argument. Who cares?
Yeah,
you know.
That's ultimately what I'm saying here, is that we should talk about the topics. We should not dredge up people's backgrounds and personal info and the mistakes that they've made in their past, or just details about their sex lives that maybe they would be embarrassed to have a 70-year-old man talk about publicly. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we can just talk about the scientific debate. You know what I mean? I mean, the credibility.
That's what I
of
do
creationism
when I go on
and
Kent's.
Yeah, you know, I think you and me are on the same page about those type of people that go on his open mic just to kind of insult him, because it's like they have to know that they're just going to get muted immediately, right? So it's like they're not really there for the debate either, you know?
Planner Walk. I'm so proud of Planner Walk for coming out as trans. I truly hope and wish that other people have the same courage as you. Congratulations, buddy.
Hello.
Okay, he goes on. You can watch the shows yourself. I'm going to get back to
What? This person doesn't think Bill Cosby is funny. A
couple more thoughts here. Right here, there, and over here. So
I love it. Again, for people who are listening, the comment says, "I can't ever find abusive people funny." I love Hannibal Buress's stand-up when he was talking about Bill Cosby, because he was a person that originally brought attention to the fact of what Bill Cosby was doing, and he was saying about how, oh, Bill Cosby is like telling young black men to pull their pants up, and he's like, well, okay, you rapist.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was so funny, and he really was the first person to expose him. I think he really spoke truth to power with that.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, I mean, that was the first time I had heard anything about that, and as far as I know, that was the thing that first brought it to the public attention. And I'm not
Because
saying
I think
that,
there'd
like,
been
it directly led
rumblings
to it, but
there'd been
yeah.
rumblings of things happening for years, kind of
Yeah.
like the Harvey Weinstein thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, men who are in positions of power, you know, have abused it throughout history. You know, I mean, Kent's done that. You know, look at what he did to the women in his life. He took advantage of them, I think.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Well, he took advantage of the fact that they're subservient, Christian women who are subservient to men. And Kent took advantage of that, I think, as of the fact that they were subservient.
This video is going to get me canceled.
You guys spend hours, you won't debate me. Emma, you're in a second here. She did a show on what she thought were contradictions in the Bible.
I don't know if I mentioned in this video. I'm going to be offended if I'm not, to be honest.
I answered them, and she played my answer on her show, but she still didn't get it. The Matthew and Luke genealogies do not contradict, Emma. You still keep saying they do, and they don't. One of them gives the ancestry of Jesus' mother, and the other one is Jesus' stepfather, Joseph. I clearly spelled it out. They both came from two different sons of David, and Solomon and Nathan, so that Jesus had the right to be king and the right to be priest. They joined it. Watch the video.
I think he meant prince, not
What
priest.
a ridiculous argument.
Well, explain it to me, because I don't even understand what Kent is saying here.
He's saying that the genealogies, I think, say that either Mary or Joseph came from the line of David. And I think he's saying that they both come from the line of David, is what Kent's argument was. And I think Emma was pointing out that discrepancy. If I'm not mistaken, somebody in the chat might know better.
Yeah.
Video. Emma, come on, okay? Watch my show a few more times and call me if you need help understanding it. 855 Big Dino extension 3. Emma.
Hey, you wish, Kent.
Okay. Third and fourth ones to whack tonight. Simon and Dan had to call this guy to protect him. Dan, I've invited you scores of times anyway, to call.
Probably literally hundreds of times, like not even exaggerating, hundreds of times. Kent has practically begged Simon and Dan to debate him.
Protect him from my wax. Okay, Kent.
And schedule a live debate. And you can show the world how smart your science are.
What? How smart your science are?
Oh boy. Clip that.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, but apparently people have to edit Kent's words, right? Yeah.
Right.
Simon, you're good at science. Show the world. And show how dumb I am, Dan, please, okay? You can have all your atheist friends come with you on the program. Simon and Dan called this guy to protect him from my wax.
Oh boy.
Planner walk. Okay. What's that say there? I am Nikki, or more commonly known as Planner walk. There.
Oh geez, this is gonna get even more cringe than I thought.
Here's Nikki.
See, he can get away with stuff like this on Rumble.
True. Yeah, that's true.
So he has come out as transgender and cisgender, whatever that is. So Dan calling in Planner Walk, whom you absolutely love. Puke, okay. To help protect you from the wax.
What even is that image? Oh, is that I can't even see what that is.
Which one? The photo there?
Yeah, in the top right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
It's like thinking a paper shield will protect you from an A10 warthog. You guys, you're in trouble. Okay. Why don't you debate me? There's Planner Walk again.
literally Planner Walk has debated Kent. This is what is,
Oh,
is
really?
funny. Yeah, they've done a debate, and Planner Walk was wearing rainbow colored nail polish during the debate.
Was it on a SFT or?
I'm pretty sure, unless I'm just totally like Mandela effect, but I'm pretty sure I remember that.
Okay. Dan, calling in Planner Walk. I got that in there twice, did I? Okay.
Jeez.
Dan, let me give you a bit of free advice, okay? You lover of science. I'm a real lover of science, okay? Both of you need to stick with debunking the silly flat earthers. You both do really good at that, okay? That theory is almost as stupid as your evolution religion. Almost. Flat earthers. A little bit smarter, not much, okay? So Planner Walk does a bunch of stuff on flat earthers. Go get them. The fifth one tonight, I stumbled across this show as I read.
I managed to get one sentence out about them without saying something rude.
Yeah.
Bro, I better get mentioned in this video. I'm going to be pissed.
Reach the bottom of the barrel. I can't play it on my channel because of the childish potty mouth they all have on there. They keep stuff in their mouth that I wouldn't want in my hand. We teach our kids to step around it here on the farm, but you guys put it right in your mouth. So I can't play your show. Sorry about that, okay? These brave keyboard warriors spend a lot of time criticizing my degrees and calling me a fake doctor, fake dinosaur scholar, and an accidental child killer. First, I don't care if they recognize my degrees or not. That has nothing to do with the fact that evolution is a pagan religion and no more. Secondly, their heroes went to accredited schools and came out believing they're related to skunks and all came from a rock. I don't respect their education much either, okay? Third, I've never killed or even harmed any child or woman or man for that matter. They are lying and stupid. So did a child drown at DAL? Oh, yeah. Yes, tragically, Stephen Alexander drowned 5.
What does this have to do with anything?
Why does Kent, I mean, just from his perspective, why does he keep bringing this up? It makes him look so bad. I mean, everybody knows that Kent didn't supply lifeguards for his lakes and that he's partially responsible because of that. Now, I wouldn't go, I don't know who's calling him accidental child killer. I mean, it's a weird, somebody's putting the word accidental on there. I mean, it's kind of strange.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody use that term or say that Kent was directly responsible for it happening, but his negligence certainly didn't help the situation.
Right.
And this coming from the supposed person who was not only a lifeguard, but trained lifeguards on how to be a lifeguard.
Exactly.
Didn't have lifeguards posted. And this is a good point that there are examples of Kent harming children. Did he say I've never harmed a child?
Or a woman. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
he did throw a person who shot a rubber band at him. He threw that kid to the ground. Yeah.
In fairness, the kid shot him several times with a rubber band.
Who knows?
Well,
I mean, is that like,
that doesn't make it okay?
Yeah, is that okay? Just to take that kid and just,
I can see getting
push
annoyed
him
with
to the
that,
ground,
but it's still inappropriate. You know what I mean? Like, go and talk to the parent. You know what I mean? You don't.
Right. You don't push kids to the ground. I mean, even your own. I mean, we know what he did to, it was either Eric or Kent Jr. at the dentist,
Right. And it's like, Kent, you're teaching young boys how to shoot rubber bands a scientific way, and you're giving them rubber bands. You're kind of, creating the situation that can result in you getting hit with rubber bands. You know what I mean? Maybe don't do that. Am I victim blaming? I'm just surprised the kid was able to, be so accurate with rubber bands to hit him multiple times in the face. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I don't believe that.
Right? Like,
Kent has a short temper.
If you think about it, like, if you would shoot a rubber band at somebody, would that hurt? Or would it like,
if you shot him from close up right in the face, maybe that would hurt.
Right. So
you would put an end to it. I mean, the way Kent described it was like he got shot multiple times. I mean, you would put a stop to that like right away after the first time it happened.
yeah, take the rubber bands away, or again, talk to
Right.
the parent and tell him,
Talk to the
hey,
parent. Just say, take your kid away. He's not behaving or whatever.
yeah. I think Kent exaggerated that situation. I think he exaggerated the age of the kid because he said the kid was essentially a teenager, that he was 13.
Right.
And I just don't believe a word of it, to be honest.
Do you think Kent has a certain amount of guilt still about this Stephen Alexander drowning? Because
Oh, absolutely.
he brings it up all the time to try to defend himself, but it's just the fact that he's bringing it up all the time, which leads me to believe that he does feel guilty about it inside.
I absolutely do. I feel bad about it,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a tragic situation, and I don't blame Kent for this, to be honest. Like,
No, I mean, if anyone has blame, it's the parents for not watching their children.
well, it's
And-
the parents should have been watching closely.
Right.
Kent, to be fair, Kent has a sign posted clearly that says, when you enter this park, you enter at your own risk. And
Yeah,
it's
but
Kent Hovind.
he
And
had enough people that he could have had somebody watching.
Right, but the parents should have been watching, and the parents had Steven swimming in street clothes without floaties. On, if you remember that detail, and there's a reason that you should never do that if you don't have to, because swim trunks are designed the way that they are to be light and to be buoyant in water. Like street clothes get incredibly heavy when they're wet, and you should never swim in them if you don't have to. And it was a young kid, and I just, it was an accident. You know what I mean? It's nobody's fault, really, but I think Kent is guilty just because I think Kent wished it hadn't happened. Obviously,
Right.
I truly hope that Kent feels bad about it, not because of the loss of a child, but because it was such a stain on his public image. I hope that's not the reason that Kent is so upset about this. You know what I mean?
Why would he keep bringing it up though? Because he's continuing to stain his image by bringing it up, because he doesn't come out looking good in this in any respect. He does have some responsibility for that, for what happened.
He does.
Now, I wouldn't say he has the most responsibility, but he does have some of the responsibility.
Right.
Swimming in blue jeans, yeah, that's not good.
I mean, that's just, and again, this is an 8-year-old. You know what I mean? So he didn't, he a 7-year-old. So, and I'm not saying he did anything wrong, but the parents should have not allowed him to swim in a lake, not a public swimming pool with a lifeguard, a lake at a camp that has a policy of, we don't have insurance here. Like, if you get injured here, don't expect us to take liability. You enter at your own risk, basically, because this is a giant rock pit, and it's, the parents were negligent. You know what I mean? I think the worst fact to me is the fact that he was swimming in improper clothing, because I think that just shows a level of negligence that not only were they doing that, it's almost like he was set up. It was like a perfect storm of this to happen. You know what I mean?
It had to have happened at some point to some child.
Right.
It just happened. It was just a bad circumstances. But Kent, after the fact, saying that he was hyperactive. I mean, that's just despicable to do that.
Of course, we all know that. We all know that Kent has no shame. But let's move on.
Years ago, a few days short of his 8th birthday. Here are the facts in case you're interested, okay? Stephen and his twin brother and entire family visited DIL. They went swimming in one of our 17 lakes and ponds. They were swimming right there. Dad was playing pool right there 50 feet away. There's the pool table. Outside, you can see where the kids were swimming, okay? We have lots of life jackets and floaties in the lake house for visitors to use.
Why wasn't he wearing one then?
Right.
Like,
water where the twins were playing is about 3 feet deep.
irrelevant. It doesn't matter how deep the water is.
Yeah.
You can drown in a puddle.
3 feet. There's a kid standing there. Just today, I took this picture. That's how deep the water is. That's a 10-year-old kid. Apparently, Stephen came up under the dock and knocked himself out, and no one found him in time. That's what.
How did he come up with that much force in that shallow of water to knock himself unconscious? This sad face, this sad smiley face. Jeez.
I'd have to talk to some other people that were there to see if that was like the place where he actually did drown right in that spot or what.
I mean, Mark Stoney was there.
Right.
And
so was Stephen.
He would know more about this than I would.
The best theory is, came up under the dock in 3 feet of water, okay? I was at the main camp a quarter mile away, so I'm not an accidental child killer. While it's a tragic accident, the family does not blame us in any way. The dad even helped us build the gazebo in honor of his son. The family put a plaque to commemorate Stephen. Fishing pier in memory of Stephen Michael Alexander, April 9th, 2012 to March 15th, 2020. Almost 8 years old. 4,500 people drowned each year in the United States.
Ugh.
Boy, I do think that's a nice gesture, but oh boy. Why does Ken have to do this?
Right.
Like,
I mean, he goes into defense mode, which just makes him look horrible.
Yeah.
And then just say that I don't know if he said that this time, but the family had a great time apart from the fact that their child drowned. That's just odd.
Yeah, it's strange.
You guys complain about that? Huh? Let's see. Action Park, New Jersey. Known for its dangerous conditions, at least 3 drownings in the tidal wave pool. Wow. Let's see. American Red Cross.
Oh, are we losing Kent?
Oh, technical difficulties.
Fatal drownings every day.
Yeah,
obviously,
this is a downloaded video. So.
Evolution.
Well, look at the
meat.
Look at the video quality.
I know it's tanking.
God himself, because you think it draws attention away from your stupid religion. Please grow up and stop mentioning this boy drowning. Family has suffered enough. Okay, it's not the family's fault or my fault.
I've suffered enough.
Right.
It was an accident, so please shut up about it. Okay, questions or comments? Atheists like to talk smack on Kent, but they're scared to debate him. I know.
Factually incorrect.
Ryan
Kent's had 300 debates, hasn't he? I mean,
yeah. How does that add up?
Come on,
you know?
This is ridiculous.
Who was he debating then? This guy has to know this isn't true.
No, he's just trying to pump Kent up.
Debate him live. They want to take my shows and comment on them because I'm not there to respond because they know I'll nail them if they say anything that is not true. But when they got their own show and I can't answer, devolution's a fact. Hovind doesn't see the evidence. I can't. I'm not there. They don't want me to there to be live. Pre-flood America, there are cave drawings with someone riding a giant elk. I don't remember seeing that one. Send a picture if you can. Doc, good evening and God bless. Do we have any idea of Christian science that can explain uranium? All the explanations.
What? Just the existence of it? Or the half-life?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what Kent says here.
Yeah, exactly.
Explanations I find are fantasy. I think it had to be created. All the 92 elements. The atheists want.
I hate it when Kent doesn't answer the question.
He does this with the stars as well. All of a sudden, they have the appearance of age, right? I mean, that's what his argument is.
Hydrogen and maybe helium coming from a big bang to then later compress and form all the elements. I'd like to know how to make gold and silver and platinum from hydrogen gas. I'd like to know how to do that.
Scientists can make gold in the laboratory just very slowly, but they can make it.
Sad, but total accident. I agree. It is sad. I was lifeguard for 2 summers, and things happen. Okay, that's it. Hey, we're done early tonight. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow night, maybe. I don't think we'll get back in time. We got a long drive. Yeah, I might though, Joseph. We're going to try. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye.
He was a lifeguard and things happened. Did you hear that?
Yeah, he was a lifeguard for 2 summers. I like how he didn't mention this time that he taught other lifeguards how to be lifeguards.
Right.
He mentioned that real quickly and then moved on.
And then you would think somebody who was a lifeguard would provide lifeguards or provide a lifeguard.
Yeah, seriously. That's the thing that bugs me, is that Kent has continued to say that he was a lifeguard. Well, then you should have known better. Why do you have 17 lakes, but none of them have lifeguards? Like,
did you hear that story that Kent told of when he was a lifeguard and there was a little kid that was like basically drowning in front of him, and Kent was just like laughing with the rest of the kids, and until finally one of the kids said, "Hey, that kid's drowning," you know?
Yeah, super racist.
Right.
Connotation behind that whole thing, because I've seen that one. It's one of Kent's worst clips. Yeah, he has to mention the kid's race, and that one makes me cringe. Okay, well, I appreciate you coming on, and I can't believe that Kent basically sneak dissed me by not mentioning me. He mentioned he mentioned 5 different atheists, but not me. Some channel I haven't even heard of, or that he barely even got into who they were. He just said that they curse a lot, but he can't mention me. He mentions me in his Bible studies offhand. Oh, I hope so. That'll be good. We can only hope, right?
Right.
All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Thank you, Big Bad Mama, for coming on. And
thanks, good to see everybody in the chat.
Yeah. Thank you to all the people who reached out to me, by the way. I know a couple people were, I had Missing Mod and Aiden, and a couple people reached out to me, and people in my Discord, because I was dealing with some crap. And I just wanted to say that I appreciate it, and that I am doing better. So thank you. Yeah. Alrighty. See you later.